This is Terrence Andre Banks with Information Age Financial Solutions coming to you with an article I read from Sovereign Man. Really in-depth article. It's kind of very short, but it puts in things perspective of what's going to come in the future, what's actually being taking place now. Again, it's on the lines of Social Security and pensions, and I can't talk enough about this because this is such a serious problem that's going to affect us dramatically, and it's affecting us because there's a lot of our family members who are attached to this, rely on this, and it's just one of the things that's keeping them sustained, and for the even the mental aspect that it's going to be there for them continuously. So the average U.S. couple could be facing a new tax of $180,360. Of course, titles always catch my attention. I was wondering how they put this in. He does a very good job of doing different things. I'll put a link inside the description here. Today, the federal government released a nearly $5 trillion annual budget proposal for fiscal year 2021, which begins on October 1st of this year. Needless to say, that's more money than any government has ever spent in the history of the world. Well said. And there are a few things in particular that are worth highlighting. First, this budget proposal will create yet another, I gotta close that out, yet another $1 trillion annual deficit, and that's simply astonishing. Think about it. This is supposed to be the everything is awesome economy. The stock market is at record high, corporate profits are at record highs, unemployment is at record lows. If the government can't make ends meet when the economy is this good, how many trillions would this people burn when the economic downturn arrives? Well said. Second, and perhaps even more importantly, the budget proposal aims to cut funding to Medicare and Social Security by hundreds of billions of dollars over the next decade. So this is when I really started paying attention to it. Bear in mind that these programs are already insolvent, i.e. they can't pay for obligations they've already promised, and they also lose money according to their own financial statements. Right on page 5 of the 2019 Social Security Annual Report, the trustees explicitly state the trust fund asset reserves become depleted and unable to pay scheduled benefits in full on a timely basis in 2035. And on page 2 of the report, they state that Social Security's cost has exceeded its non-interest income since 2010, and that's the cost of Social Security for 2019 exceeds non-interest income by $81 billion. So it's already going great. It's already insolvent, and it's losing money at that time. It's just funny. It's pointing in the rain sight, and we're really not paying attention to this. The Medicare annual report is even more bleak in its outlook. The board projects that expenditures will increase in future years at a faster pace than their aggregate workers' earnings or the economy overall. Any of these scenarios will substantially increase the strain on the nation's workers, the economy, Medicare beneficiaries, and the federal budget. Tax income and other dedicated revenues will fall short of program expenditure in all future years. The financial projections in this report include a need for substantial changes to address Medicare's financial challenges. They even state that the government needs to give taxpayers ample time to adjust their expectations and behavior, which they have not, because they're only talking about we got to save it, and they're not talking about the problems that is for the funding of it. Major challenges that will end up being made to the program as a result of the fiscal realities. And they also check that Medicare's largest trust fund will be fully depleted in 2026. Let me repeat this again. Medicare's largest trust fund will be fully depleted in 2026, just 6 years from now. Again, don't take my word for it. These are the official government reports signed by, among others, the Treasury Secretary of the United States. This is not some wild conspiracy theory. This is even a political problem. This isn't even a political problem. It's an arithmetic problem, and one that will never add up. Both programs estimate their funding gap to be nearly $20 trillion. This is a level that's obviously beyond the government's capacity to bail out. The federal government loses $1 trillion each year and is already in debt by $23.25 trillion. And to be clear that this is a record high amount. In other words, the federal debt level right now today is the highest that has ever been in U.S. history. They don't have the money to scratch the surface of saving Social Security and Medicare, so a bailout is not an option. But like I said earlier, they're actually moving in the other direction. Today's budget process to cut nearly $1 trillion from the programs over the next decade. So the government has hastening decline of Social Security and Medicare, not bailing them out. Option 2 is default, and by default I mean default on the obligations and promises they made to tens of millions of taxpayers over the last 50 plus years. They have a number of ways of doing this. For example, they could push out retirement by 5 years or so. But this is effectively stealing retirement funds for people who have been paying into the program for entire working lives. Right now, the average married couple receives $36,072 of Social Security benefits per year. So delaying benefits for 5 years means the average couple loses more than $180,000 in retirement benefits that they paid for and been promised. This tantamount is a tax of $180,360 per couple. Is where he gets the title for his article. Alternatively, Uncle Sam could cut benefits altogether. Social Security's trustees have already indicated that 23% cut in benefits will cover the short-term funding gap. But based on the average life expectancy in the United States for seniors, this works out to be a total reduction of $160,400 per couple from the benefits they were promised, which is also tantamount to a tax. It would also turn people's lives upside down. Life isn't cheap in the land of the free and the living, and living on a fixed income is difficult. Slashing the income by 23% will hit a lot of people hard. That's why I like the way he goes about this, explaining how difficult it is. Bottom line, the government isn't going to fix anything. According to today's budget proposal, they're actually making it worse. You have to fix this yourself. The good news is there are plenty of ways to save more money, including turning your hobby into something that boosts your retirement savings. Seriously, 15-year-old kids are earning good money playing video games on Twitch. To Instagram Scarlets make more from butt selfies. People sell homemade crafts online in their spare bedrooms out, and people rent their spare bedrooms out. I mean, there are countless ways to make extra money. Well said. That's what the whole channel is about. Just thinking differently and looking at the different opportunities. And if you're smarter and how you structure it, you can diversify out most of that extra cash into an inexpensive tax advantage retirement accounts. This will go a long way in solving an obvious problem. All right, it gives a solution here. Again, Sovereign Man does a fantastic job of his articles, puts things in plain English, worth your time to look at. It is $180,000 tax if you look at it that way. Just being aware of it and where we're going and where we're facing, because eventually this will crack. And I mean crack where you can't hide it anymore. It's going to have to be in all public media, and it's going to be first page news. You have the time to prepare for yourself that now. And as we second month in the new year, it's definitely time to really put things in order. If this video has been any value to you, please subscribe, leave some comments, hit the like button, hit the bell for new videos. And until my next video, I'm out.